This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
It is 10:07 on the East Coast, 7:07 in Las Vegas, and you are on Money Info, brought to you by Princeton Research. Don't forget that newsletter every Sunday night with Mike King and Charles Moscowitz. And very pleasant good morning, guys.
Good morning. How are you?
How are you doing, sir? Multiple sirs. Michael, how are you? How you feeling, buddy?
Not good.
Man, yeah, last week was not a good week. There's no doubt about it.
For who?
Me too. I'm with you, Michael. Oh, man. But anyway, we are back, the three of us. And, of course, the one that I think came out of last week unscathed was Charles Moscowitz.
Yeah, Charles had a great week last week.
Yeah, yes. Well, I'm glad one of us did. How are you, Charles?
Dandy.
Dandy, yeah.
Dandy.
Oh, you sound so excited.
Cold and wet here.
Cold and wet, and you know it's raining here, which is absolutely amazing. You know, it's been so dry, and we've had tons of fires.
Here, 70 degrees and beautiful.
Rub it in, Mike. Oh, yeah. It usually is. It's a great place to live out there.
No clouds in Las Vegas.
Yeah, except when the streets are flooded and they're having one of their flash floods. Been there, done that, too. Oh, my. So what's...
Welcome,
Yep.
Tim Connolly.
Oh, my goodness.
Mike, how did you know, Mike? I was being quiet listening to you.
Yeah. It's the master of the oil disaster.
Well, as Mike King taught me when I was but a wet-nosed pup many years ago, every market needs shorts.
Yes.
Shorts create volume. In this case, unfortunately, we don't know how far the short goes. But, you know, I still believe we're going to be in a trading range of $45 to $55 for maybe the next 3 years. I firmly believe that.
Really?
Well, we're just so good at producing oil now. I mean, the United States is the swing producer now. You can.
And there's a big article in Barron's that money can be made at $40.
Absolutely, it can be. That's the problem.
Wow.
I mean, what it does is it forces the industry. The industry becomes so efficient that the smaller players can't get the scale, and so it's going to be. This is a big boy business now. The era of the small independent wildcatter is pretty much over. It's over, and where we will see a real change, I think, Mike, I've been doing a lot of that work, which you and I have discussed, of the longer-term implications of these huge projects that take 5 years to deliver, some even 10. All those big projects are being scaled back by every major, from Exxon on down. And what they're going for is the quick production, the Permian Basin, the scoop and stack in Oklahoma, the easy things that produce good, cheap oil and gas. But the long-term projects are largely being scaled back. And who knows, maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years, I'm convinced we're going to see a price shock. But it's not going to be any time in the near future.
Well, Tim, what's in your mind, looking into your crystal ball, the future of fracking then? Or is that dead too?
I think the future of fracking is still outstanding. There are part of the problems that are happening today. A friend of mine is in the fracking business. He can't get sand again. He can't get crew members. They are backed up now in the Permian Basin. They've got a whole lot of drilled but uncompleted wells now because the fracking companies that are left are busy, and their skilled labor, many of them went away, and they went to work in construction, and they went to work in retail, they went to work in other areas. A good example of that is one of our field operators, Damon Wagley, who I look at as one of the finest operators and independent oilmen I've ever seen. Family founded his business in 1952 and told me last week he thinks he's going to take a job with the state of Texas and shut down the company.
Wow.
That's how bad it is for the small independent operators. Here's one that's been in business for 65 years, and he's having to shut down his family business.
Wow. Boy.
What's the advantage of the larger producer?
The larger producer, Mike, can afford the technology that's out there and these new drilling rigs. They have robotics now that are incredible. They have crawling rigs that literally can go from drilling pad to drilling pad, so that instead of having the huge mobilization you used to have with trucks and more crew members and roughnecks, these rigs can literally crawl from one point to another, saving days of mobilization, saving hundreds of hours of labor. The new robotics on these drilling rigs allow them to use fewer crew members. So, for instance, our typical crew member was 4 and a tool pusher for 5 people. Those new robotic rigs don't need more than 3.
Wow.
And so all of it is all about efficiency. The production of oil and gas has now become a manufacturing operation. And I'll have to be sure I get a look at that new Barron's article because I absolutely agree with it. I looked at Apache's Q1 results. They lowered their lifting costs from being in the $30 range in 2014 to $9 a barrel in the Permian Basin in the first quarter.
Wow.
Hey, Tim, you talk about labor force. Florida Power and Light here locally just signed a deal with our Indian River State College to train workers for the solar fields in Texas and Oklahoma and the wind. And this is like a 10-year project. Can't like one of the Texas state schools start retraining 21st century oil employees?
There's no question they can, and there's one that specializes that in Sweetwater called TSTI. I think it may have recently merged with one of the bigger institutions, but it was formerly called the Texas State Technical Institute.
Okay.
And that's exactly what they do, is train technical personnel. But, Texas is the biggest producer of wind energy in the United States. We are way, way ahead of the curve there. But those jobs that are out there today, the new ones that are being created, I don't believe we're going to see that trend continue. If we've got a constrained budget, we're not going to continue to see big tax credits for green energy, either in this administration or this Congress. And if you don't have the tax credits, it does not compete.
Yeah.
Period. The end. End of story.
Wow. Okay. That's very, very interesting. Yeah.
Well, that's, all of the politicians who are conservatives keep on yammering on that on a fairly continuous basis about how none of these things would survive without subsidies.
Well,
not
you know what,
wind,
the one thing that may? Solar may if the Chinese keep dumping solar cells in the United States.
Yeah.
But once again, they're dumping, and it's hurting the U.S. manufacturers, and yet the U.S. installers are getting cheaper installation. There's sometimes you're just between the devil and the deep blue sea, and that's a good example of it.
What's very interesting is that Elon Musk is building an entire housing development over in Fort Myers area, and it's all solar. The roof tiles are solar. And and so apparently, it's the old, because Carol and I are going to be getting a new roof, right? But how much is a solar roof? $250,000, 300,000, or something like that. Holy smokes! But they're saying that entire community is going to be totally self-sufficient for years. I don't know.
Well, and the answer to that is maybe, because it depends on storage. It depends on the ability to. We just finished. We had somebody come pitch us. I'm the chairman of the board of a large regional sewage treatment and water facility in Houston here, and someone came and pitched us on converting over to solar, and that it would provide 90% of our electricity forever and ever, except the recovery of the costs was going to be 14 years.
Oops.
And that's kind of a long time for cost recovery, and it did not take into account lower prices for energy. And so ultimately we ended up not doing it because the area that it didn't make sense at all was without the credits, it was into the 20-plus years, and as a non-tax facility, non-profit, a governmental entity, we not only don't need credits, we don't qualify for them. So it's a perfect example of it doesn't work in a free market.
Have you guys heard the commercials? I know CBS Radio is doing them. I heard them on Rush Limbaugh as well. It is a new fuel. They're saying that gas and oil are out, that this is a new fuel that you could fill up and drive coast to coast twice without refilling up. And actually, it's a new it's a startup company, and they're hitting up for investors is what the deal is. And but have you heard anything about some major alternative fuel that is going to be?
I get the teasers in the newsletters all the time.
Okay.
And then they want to force you to listen to their 10-minute spiel on why you buy a subscription to their newsletter to get the secret of this new fuel.
Yes.
In all honesty, I don't know what it is, but I've heard these stories for many, many years. The infrastructure of the world is still running on carbon. Now, it is moving over to natural gas, which is going to improve our carbon footprint. But, if you've got a new fuel for cars to run on and boats and barges and major shipping and all that, what do you think it takes to retrofit that stuff to make it work? It's just like when ethanol came out, the first thing they found out is that alcohol melts the fuel lines in boats. Nobody thought about it till they put a little bit of it.
Yeah, naturally, yeah. Oh, we got to replace it. Oh, really? We have to replace the motor. We have to replace the whole system. Yeah.
And you know what else I think about that? It's sort of, if it worked that well, they wouldn't be sharing it. They'd be doing it.
Oh, Charles.
Touché.
Charles the cynic.
It's kind of like, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but televangelists seem to be the last guy I'd expect a god to speak to, because they're assholes.
Ouch! Whoa! Where's my delay? Oh.
Yeah, where's your 6-second delay? I don't think that's not one of the 7 dirty words, though.
I turned it off before the show. I didn't think we needed it. Oh well. But
I was going to ask you this famous new fuel that's going to eliminate every ounce of gasoline and natural gas we need. Is it actually in a new public company, perhaps? Is there maybe a promote going on around this?
Yeah, it's. By the way, guys, and I know that this isn't totally related to oil, but have you been watching the CNBC stories on Walmart and their concept of the last mile?
Yes,
I love it.
Do you? Okay, go ahead, Tim. I just couldn't wait to talk to you guys about your opinions on that.
I think that it's brilliant because they're leveraging the need of their employees to make additional money. They're going to use their logistics knowledge and their logistics expertise to say to employees, okay, on your way home, you've got 3 different possible deliveries. We'll pay you an extra $5 a piece in mileage. What do you think? Okay.
Yeah, for an extra $20 a day, I'd do that.
Of course. And I think it's brilliant because it also compensates those people. It's just a brilliant concept. And, of course, we immediately got commentary from the liberal media and the labor unions. Well, will they be receiving overtime for this? Will they actually get all their costs paid? Are they actually going to make money or be taken advantage of?
You sound like you're on MSNBC. Well, you know, that it is interesting. Of course, you know, our insurance guy, of course, immediately brought up all the insurance issues there that could be really devastating.
I mean, that's using your personal car for commerce.
Yeah,
and
but
the same insurance rules do not apply, or not the rules, the coverage does not apply.
Exactly, unless it's scheduled on your policy, you could very well end up not being covered. So Walmart would have to have some sort of umbrella that covers things in the course of their employment. But
well, and you know,
I just think it's very smart because Walmart's way behind Amazon and everybody else, and this is a way for them to pick up the most expensive method of delivery is the last mile, and I just think it's very smart. Very, very smart.
Well, and when at least the stories that were on CNBC that supposedly that last mile is 1/2 of the shipping costs on FedEx, UPS, and the Postal Service.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Wow, I mean that would
it's being done. It's being done in smaller vehicles. It's labor intensive. It's traffic intensive. It involves start, stop, and so by its very nature, it costs
and they're
more.
all over the place. If I'm a Walmart employee who wants to do this, I'm looking for the places that are on my way home, or just slightly out of my way. Not like the FedEx guy who picks the stuff up at the distribution center here and has to go to 7 different towns, you know, and crisscross his own path as opposed to having a little bit more, you know, direct route. And I'm sure the logistics side of it is very sophisticated, but it's not as simple as, you live northeast of where we are now? Okay, well, we'll give you these packages. They're all towards the northeast. You'll be driving by them anyway.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Imagine how much cheaper that is.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, and so, okay, guys, what happens to FedEx, UPS, and the Postal Service? Lost revenue.
It's really simple. They look at all of the things that we've discussed, like the law and the insurance coverage, and they mount a campaign against it. That's all they have to do.
Okay.
That will be interesting because I think you're absolutely right. But the Walmart shopper doesn't really listen to the FedEx PR machine.
Right.
They're there to save money. And if they're going to order online, they're doing that to save money. And if they know they're getting it delivered to them by a Walmart employee on their way home, I mean, just the story alone gives you more stickiness to your customer.
Right.
As long as those employees.
Not to mention the fact that it can be same-day service.
Yeah, and that's what CNBC was saying.
That's
that all of a sudden,
about it.
yeah,
because
that all of a sudden they're there.
You can get same-day service in Manhattan or San Francisco or Philadelphia, and you know it is what it is. But you can't get it in Hanover, Massachusetts.
Nope.
But you can in Las Vegas.
Yeah, but it's the highly dense areas that can do it more efficiently, Mike. Las Vegas, you can do it, but you're paying for, you know, as in everything in Las Vegas that used to be free, you pay for now. But absolutely, you can get same-day delivery in Las Vegas or Houston. We're both widely spread out cities.
Yeah.
Wow, that's it's an amazing story, and it's it's like as you were saying, Timmy, the technology has changed so dramatically. I mean, just the thought of what you were talking about, having robots do a lot of the work of the old wildcatters out there in the field, is mind-boggling to me. But it does make perfect sense if you're using like GPS and all the other stuff to feed that information to them.
I think it bodes incredibly well for the pipeline companies. The pipelines are going to be full, and they are the toll roads. They don't really care if oil's $100 a barrel or $30 a barrel, as long as their pipelines are full. And with all this new production coming out of the Permian, coming out of the Scoop and Stack in Oklahoma, and out of the Eagle Ford in Texas, it bodes very well for the pipeline companies.
Okay, but how the hell do you refine this stuff? I mean, we still don't have any new refineries yet.
No, but that's happening. You've got the new Corpus Christi one that Exxon's doing. You've got Motiva announced a $12 billion expansion, the Saudis announced 2 or 3 weeks ago, to the plant here in, I think it's in Freeport, Texas. I mean, it's happening. Houston is the gateway for 45% of the refined products in the United States. And now we're exporting it to South America because the South Americans have neither the capacity or, in many cases, the capital to build refineries today. And so we're getting new markets in South America that the demand is there.
What happens with Venezuela, with both supply and refining?
Will the last person to leave Venezuela please turn out the lights?
You guys are bad. Oh, you're terrible. Holy smokes. Okay.
No, but you're talking about an area that clearly has excess capacity on the refining side.
Right, but nobody will work there. Everybody's owed billions. The maintenance has been literally set aside for the last 2 to 3 years. It's just an incredibly corrupt, inefficient mechanism that is eating itself.
Yeah, this is the area that they brought on the 33-year-old multi-billionaire who made all of his money and then lost 98% of it in 18 months, if I recall.
Holy smokes!
They had a special on him on 60 Minutes, and they interviewed him, right at the top of his net worth. And
now, isn't Venezuela a OPEC country?
I don't know.
It may be, but does it matter?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha there.
See, this is the OPEC problem today. Because of the infrastructure requirements of the cost of their governments, lifting cost isn't their issue. It's bribery cost of all of their citizenry. That the Saudis say they need $60 a barrel. The Russians say they need 60 to 65. They got to have their money to invade the Ukraine. They got to do this. They got to do that. It's why we're the swing producers again, because we don't have the same kind of expenses that they do to satisfy their populace.
That's really interesting. Yeah, that's really a telling tale there. Wow.
Now, wasn't there an article today, and I'm looking for it right now, of the Venezuelans trying to sell a hugely discounted $5 billion bond issue, and the whole.
Well, they had one last week.
Yeah, they're trying to do. There was something about an older issue that they're trying to get rid of, and now after all that publicity,
the one that all the hedge funds are stuck in, and don't get paid either principal or interest on, that they've sued the government there, and the government's come back and said pretty much the same thing our government would. You can't sue us. And so there's a big movement amongst those dozen or so hedge funds who, it's the same thing as the bondholders who had first lien on the equipment at General Motors when we negotiated that, classic tenet of corporate law and investing, and just said, no, we're giving that the equity to the unions, and all of the bondholders just, they told them to pound sand.
So everybody should look at CRAK. It's an ETF for refiners. Take a look at that chart.
What is it again, Michael?
CRAK.
CRAK.
Oh, crack.
Crack. Oh, great.
Yes, and let's welcome Terry Howlett.
Speaking of crack.
Speaking of crack.
if you don't want your skin to crack, you got to use Skin Visible, huh? How's that? How's that for a transition?
That's a good intro.
That's a great segue.
This is Noreen. Hey, Mike, this is Noreen. Do I have the wrong time?
Yeah, next week for you.
Okay, bye.
See you, Noreen.
I'm going to let you guys discuss Skin Visible, and I'm going to become invisible. So.
Oh, man. Wow.
Thanks for having me on.
Man, this is a whacked up show.
You guys have a great week.
Okay, Timmy. Well, again, the major newsmaker there with Mr. Connolly, 45 to 50 range for the next 3 years, he says. Very interesting. Well, let's see. Mr. Howlett is involved in all sorts of stuff, and again, a big thank you for your lovely sun protection. Works well. Works very well, my friend.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So what's going on at Skin Visible?
Well, we just had an announcement out this morning on the sale of one of our products into China.
Oh, good.
And we were just in China 10 days ago for the introduction of the product. One of our products is called DermSafe. It's a hand sanitizer without alcohol. It uses chlorhexidine glutamate as the active ingredient, and it's also known as CHG. And it's a great ingredient. It's used today in all the soaps in every scrub-up room of every hospital worldwide. So it's well used, well recognized, because it kills both gram-positive, gram-negative bacteria as well as viruses, unlike alcohol. So it's a great active ingredient. And combined with our Invisicare technology at Skin Visible, it stays bound to the skin for a minimum of 4 hours. So when you put it on, you have a minimum 4-hour protection. Every time you shake somebody's hand, you touch your doorknob, whatever, you're protected.
So
we were just there, yeah.
Great. Well, I have to ask you, Terry, are you copyright protected in China? Nothing. I just go ahead.
I know. Yeah, I mean, we have a patent in China, so somebody says, does that help? I have no idea. We'll see what happens. But, the reception, this is our second trip there, the reception to Skin Visible. We have a broker licensee there representing us who is, of course, Chinese but speaks very good English, educated partly in his senior years in Houston, so he speaks very good English, and he's excellent businessman, and has brought us to some excellent companies to merchandise our products. So
okay,
and it's I tell you, my eyes are open when I go to the progression and when you drive the streets and you see the cars and the Bentleys and the BMWs and whatever all over the place. So there's certainly lots of money, as they tell me always, Terry. There's lots of money here, so we're happy about that.
All right, who's got the money? And
the people. The people have access to we've met a lot of people, and they all have a lot of money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they've really created a middle class then, if you will.
Well, they have,
or more.
And as one fella said, our last trip there, we looked at a meeting, and in the meeting was all 35-year-olds, all with MBAs or whatever, sitting at the table. And he said, look around the room and look in the parking lot of the cars. And he said, if you think these guys are going back to the old days, forget about it. It's not going to happen.
Okay. Okay. Well, interesting. Wow.
Yeah. It was a real eye opener for us, so anyways, as I said, this was our second trip. This is a direct consumer company, direct sales company, I should say. We attended the introduction of the product. It was at a beautiful resort in Shanghai, a 5-star resort. 1,200 of their top distributors were there, and we got a reception like you'd think you were walking into unbelievable cameras and clapping and music playing, and pretty phenomenal introduction. And we did the presentation on the product, and I understand they got lots of orders now. The product's on its way there now, bought and paid for, of course, before we shipped. And the initial order was 10,000 bottles of our DermSafe, and we've been invited back mid-24th, I think, of July, invited back to their big annual convention, which will be in the thousands of people there to do a further presentation, at which time we expect bigger orders.
Well, Terry, you could probably get one of the Elvis impersonators to get you one of those, and you just wear one of those outfits, and if there's going to be music and all the other stuff, you might as well have the outfit to go along with it, right?
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for that idea. That's a great idea.
Oh man, this show has just gone downhill. Oh man, I love it.
Two questions for you, Terry.
Yep.
Two questions. Number one, do you have anything that prevents your skin from being eaten up by the smog?
It's pretty bad.
I was just going to ask you about the air there.
But the second.
Well, we were in Shanghai, and we went to Beijing, where it's bad, but it's this time of year is not as bad as it's going to get.
Yeah.
It's going to be very, very bad.
Thing is, when we talk about your products and them having SPF protection in it, at what level is that? Because I've just heard in the last couple of days that there is a retailer, it may be a CVS or a Walgreens or whatever, I just don't remember who it was, who said that they are now no longer going to stock any item that has less than a 15 on
SPF.
Yeah,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
I mean,
an SPF 15 is the minimum you would want for protection, the minimum.
Yeah, and that's what they're saying. If we're not offering you protection, we're not offering you anything. We're going to go to 15 and up.
Right.
And I don't remember who it was, but I do remember being impressed with the size of the company that was doing it.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think. Go ahead, Terry.
No, I was going to say, and then the FDA, of course, there is a ruling out there, but I believe it's passed. But you still see SPF hundreds, and the FDA have said, look, at anything over SPF 50 doesn't mean anything because it's 99% effective, and how much more can you get than 99%, really?
Right.
So are you putting more of these sunscreens on your skin that's not really necessary? So,
I think the one you sent us, Terry, was what, 50? I think?
30. That's
30. 30. Okay.
That's real common. And that does about 98%.
It's wonderful.
But here's the key benefit from what separates all sunscreens have to fall under the FDA. So there's only certain ingredients you can use for the UVA, the UVB, et cetera, that you're concerned about. And there's only so much you can put in each one. The only one recognized, the only sun absorber, and these absorb the sun's rays, is avobenzone, also known as Parcel 1789. It's the only one approved by the FDA. The problem is it breaks down in 2 hours in the sun. So every sunscreen says reapply every 2 hours. We have a patent, a separate patent from our polymers, that show that our SPF 30 sunscreens had a lasting, didn't break down for over 8.5 hours. Independent studies. So we were granted a patent. So does our sunscreen last all day? Yes. Can we make the claim? No. We can make the claim if we go back to the FDA and seek an approval, but it was very, very costly. So we just know anecdotally, the people who use our sunscreen, myself included, it literally lasts all day.
Yeah, mine lasted 6 hours. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. We got golfers that will golf 36 holes and never have to reapply it. And it doesn't contain oils, and it contains polymers. And these polymers are unique in the fact that they bind to the skin, and they don't clog the skin's pores from breathing. So that's important. You can perspire. So the sunscreen is a winner. But if I can go back to this DermSafe, I think it's going to be big. We've been told he has, on our press release this morning, he has, and we know the people. We've talked to them. One of them visited us already from China. 3 more potential clients. Remember, we're talking a population of 1.4 billion people, minimum, growing at the rate of 48 million new people a day.
Oh, really?
Now,
wow.
Coupled, I was just on my research. Coupled with that is the death of 25 million people. So a net of 23 million people a day. Now, this is under the one-child rules, now changed to two-child rule you can have now. So it's going to grow. And these people are really concerned. The great thing we found, this young generation of them, the 30s and 40s, and more so even the 30s, are very concerned about the elderly and taking care of them. And this one company we visited is in the home health care business, and they want this product for all of the elderly citizens. They want everybody to have DermSafe so they don't get sick. So, we think this could be a real winner now that we've got our foothold into China.
Wow. What an amazing story. Yeah, I mean, that's huge. Yeah. That's huge for you guys.
Yeah. Well, the one company in Beijing, we were in Shanghai, we went to Beijing, did the presentation to them, showing the product, they liked it and everything else, and everything was good, and they'd had it before, but now they had the full presentation from the company. We left, and 2 days later, the licensee sends us a picture of all the products, including our skincare line, all up on display in the foyer of their building where you walk in. And we said, well, what's this all about? He said, did we do good? He said, I think you did very good. Expect some orders. So that skincare would be great for us, too, because they like Made in America.
Boy, that's amazing. That's great stuff. That's really amazing. The you talk about Beijing, and what gets me is, of course, obviously being from Los Angeles, I remember the days of Los Angeles real bad smog. But it's over there. I mean, it just seems like it's really bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're correct. I mean, I've seen all the pictures, too, and I've not been there during that time in Beijing when it's real bad. But
yeah, we have a local pharmacist / acupuncturist, Dr. Scheip, who's been on the air here for a long time, and he does continuing education in Shanghai. And he said, yeah, you wear a mask. You go
we took
outside.
masks with us just in case.
Really? God. I can't even comprehend that. But, you have people in Mexico City saying the same thing. When the inversion layers are really, really bad, they just get their mask out, and they're still outdoors, but, they're wearing masks. Wow. Yeah. So, Terry, you have that one product that is you're kicking off there in China. What about the whole line now? Is that...
Okay, so here's our update, as I would call it. Number one for us, of course, right now, because it is in the press today, is of course China, and selling the initial DermSafe product, and because it can go on and on and on, and later on we could manufacture it and just ship it. I don't think we'll ever manufacture it in China, but we can manufacture it in totes and ship it, and they can package there and even bring the cost down for the end consumer. But the thing that we're very involved in right now is the cannabis area. And as we've mentioned, because of our polymer delivery system, that's what we're all about. We're not about new ingredients. We're not about drugs or marijuana. We're about taking the active ingredient from both the hemp product, the CBD from hemp, which is known for medicinal reasons, for pain management, and also taking THC from the marijuana plant and putting them into product formulations for lotions. And we've been very successful to date with CBD. And when I say successful, we've developed 2 formulations, one a topical using CBD, and the other one a transdermal. And then what we did, once we're done with them, we have to make them in our lab, and then we have to put them in an oven at 40 degrees Celsius for 90 days. And if they're effective still at 90 days and they're within 10% of what you started with, if you started with a 1% formula, and if it's within 10% of that, that's as good as 2 years on the shelf. So then that's what you want, a minimum 2-year shelf life. We want more. We go to 120 days, which is 3 years. And we're doing that right now. But here's the key. The key is that we went out and bought some of the market leaders that have CBD in them. And we brought them into our lab, and we did a study on them. And what we want to do is, which is what we always do, we compare ourselves to market leaders. What is somebody else doing with a product like this? And we found that the best we could get out of any hemp product, a topical solution that's a big seller, a big seller, was a 4% release of the active out of the solution, and immediate, as soon as we can test for it. Ours was 24% immediately. And that's important, not just an immediate. That's important because if it doesn't get out of the solution, what benefit is it?
Right.
To the skin.
Right.
Then we worked on our transdermal, our release through the skin. And we don't have any other products that we can compare to, but we're just happy to announce that we were able to release 81% of the CBD penetrated through the skin. You have 3 layers of skin, and when you can get through the layers of skin, it will go in the bloodstream. So today you can take a pill, as you know, it goes through the stomach or into the gut, and then it's broken down, and then it goes into the liver and then in the bloodstream. If you can do it transdermally, you can eliminate all of that. You can go right through the skin into the bloodstream, and now you're effective right away. 81% release after 6 hours. I mean, it's a controlled release. This is very effective. It's real science, and we're just so excited about that development.
Terry, do you have any competitors in that market?
Not that we have seen.
Okay.
The transdermal side of it.
Mm-hmm.
There are in the synthetic side of marijuana, the synthetic side, because those companies work then with the FDA. Remember, these are restricted. Well, CBD not so much, but THC is a Class 1 drug, so we can't use it in our facility here. We're waiting to move into an approved Nevada licensed production facility to begin work on THC, and hopefully we'll know next week when we'll be going in to that facility. But we have not seen any in our space that would be a penetrator.
Wow. Boy, wouldn't that be nice to have the market all to yourself? That not a bad call, Terry. Wow, that's amazing.
No, it's going to be very exciting. So our business model on it is this. You cannot produce and manufacture either from THC, from the marijuana plant, a product and sell it across the state line. You can't make it here and sell it in Colorado. You can't make it in Nevada and sell it in California. You must make it in that state. So we put together a whole business model where we will license it out to each of the approved states, of which are 28 for medical marijuana. So Skin Visible will set it all up, and we're working on that now. The production equipment's about $10,000. We'll license it to an approved facility already operating in Colorado. We will supply them all of the equipment. Of course, they'll buy it. Equipment. We'll show them how to manufacture it. They will buy it because from Skin Visible's point of view, you never want to touch the leaf. If you touch the leaf, then you got a problem and you got a banking issue and everything else. So we don't do that. We're an ancillary business. We supply the packaging materials for all the different jars that they'll be selling, and all of the ingredients they buy from us in a package. And once we set them up, then we will work with them to set up other dispensaries. For instance, in Denver, there's over 500 dispensaries. So there's like 500 CVS stores, right? So once you got your manufacturer set up, then you work with him, her, to go visit all of the 500 dispensaries to get them to now market your product, our Skin Visible products. And we'll do that in all 28 states. And we have interest. We have lots of interest. We have interest in Arkansas, Colorado, California, right here in Nevada, Washington State. It grows as we get more news about who we are from other companies wanting to do this.
That's interesting, because all of a sudden you have instant distributors that you never had in your past life at Skin Visible. That's kind of intriguing. Yeah.
Well, it's unbelievable. We have interest in what we're doing from Canada. We're talking to right now to some of the largest companies by market cap in Canada about our technology. We have interest in Germany, where it's approved. Medical marijuana is approved. Brazil, Australia, lots of countries. So we're now off to China, back from China. Now we're, Jim, our chemist in the lab, was working not day and night, but working aggressively. Putting things together here. We have a whole concept of the business plan, and I believe that this whole cannabis opportunity could catapult Skin Visible and our shares to heights we've never dreamed of before. It is so exciting.
Wow, that's amazing.
Very profitable.
Yeah, that's amazing stuff. So stock-wise, what's happening with you?
Well, I see we put a press release out this morning. We're trading a little bit of volume. We do not have an IR firm. We've been very quiet for the last, I would say 12 months on doing anything. That's about to change, particularly with the cannabis. We have a couple of companies that want to jump on with us and help us, and we're going to get that, because you need to get the news out.
Sure.
If you don't tell people who you are, you just sit there and it'll grow. But we want to get the news out and let people know what we're up to.
Well, so we come in and we're anxious to help.
Okay, I appreciate that, Mike. That's for darn sure. Yeah. And so that's what we're working on. We've got a couple other things that are in the early stages that with the company that we can't discuss right now. But those two things we can. We can talk about DermSafe in China, and of course we can talk about what we're doing in the marijuana space and where it's at. There's a lot of research out today, and every day there's more and more research coming out on the medical benefits of marijuana and the THC from marijuana, and also CBD from hemp. And now we subscribe to all this. We get lots of information on studies, a lot done in Europe, Israel, a lot of them as well, on the benefits, getting people off the opioids. And there's 3 doctors here right here in Las Vegas that we met. 2 of them, that's their total business. That's all they do.
Really?
They just work to get people onto marijuana and off of opioids. Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. That is amazing. So I just wonder how a Canadian guy like you has been on for 24 minutes and not even mentioned the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Well, because the last Canadian team, Ottawa, got kicked out, so you know.
yeah, you don't even care now, right? Oh.
Oh no, I do care. Yeah, I love hockey a lot. Yeah, it's pretty neat what those Predators are doing. Pretty exciting.
Yeah, and a dear friend of mine from Los Angeles, Pete Weber, is the play-by-play guy of the Preds. So, we're kind of secretly rooting for Nashville this time around. That would be great.
Oh yeah. Well, we got our own team here now. I'm going to have to be Las Vegas Knights. I'm going to have to be a champion of the local team now.
There you go. Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Well, so are there going to be any more return trips to China, or was this just a special
I think
blowout?
The middle of July. Our
Okay.
licensee is coming over to America, to the U.S. Next week. Then he'll be here in Las Vegas with us the week after that. And they've asked if we'd come back for this big conference on July the 24th to really promote the DermSafe to all of their people. And we want to do that because we believe there'll be follow-up orders then. Because, you need to order the product now because you need to have it when the fall hits, when flu season hits.
Oh, yeah. Sure. That makes perfect sense.
We kill H7N9, the swine flu, and bird flu, avian flu, H7N9, swine flu, H1N1. We've tested all of those. Our product kills those. And China's just gone through another, what the article the other day says, one of the worst, I think the fifth worst issue of swine flu or something like that, and we put in our press release this morning. So there's lots of interest because of that too. You talk about the mask. You need the mask, and you certainly need the hand care.
So, Terry, the press release, is that on your website?
Yeah, it's on our website, and it's out on all the. If you call up Skin Visible, and it'll be on every news or stock whatever it is, wherever you find your shares, Yahoo, whatever it is, it's out there this morning. Yeah.
Wow, that's great news. Great news.
Yeah.
And the website address for our listeners is?
Skin Visible, SKINVISIBLE, skinvisible.com. Ticker symbol SKVI. SKVI, Skivvy.
Mike or Charles, any other questions for Terry?
No, that's really great. We're ready to move forward with it. So we just need to sit down with Terry and determine what he wants to do. We're ready.
Yeah. Okay.
Boy, that's an amazing story, Terry. And, each time you come back, you've got something. But this the Chinese thing is just off the charts.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very exciting. Everything that's going on there. Because I said it's not, we have 5 other products that they could take, and they probably will take some of the companies because this guy has the rights for all of China. And he's out telling a story about our technology and why made in America skincare products are better. So we're expecting news on that too, sales on that in those areas.
Wow. Well, best of luck, and good luck with
you.
your distributor coming here in July, and then good luck on your trip back to China in July.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and thanks for your time this morning, guys. I appreciate it very, very much.
All right. Thank you very much. Terry Howlett, the president and CEO of Skin Visible. And, Mike, we have about another minute. Anything you are looking at specifically, you or Charles, in the market today?
Well, I keep buying the dips.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
We've done particularly well with the S&P options because the volatility is so low that they're kind of cheap. In other words, I don't have to pay big premiums over intrinsic value in order to trade them. So, we buy 10 or 20 or 30 of these things and just trade them for, 40, 50 cents at a shot, which, is pretty close to a double in most of them. And, so as long as that continues, as long as the premiums stay low, I think we'll probably do that. We've had a couple of nice trades in big companies that have been lagging the market that are just beginning to catch up. And so, we'll continue to take as low a risk trade as we can and, continue to make money. We're up almost 70% in the options account.
Wow.
That's not too shabby.
70%? No, that's not too shabby at all. And don't forget that newsletter every Sunday from PrincetonResearch.com. Mike King in Las Vegas, Charles Moscowitz in Boston. You guys have a great week as we will here on the Treasure Coast. A little wet, but boy, we need the rain. This is WPSL 14.